Hallo, hallo. Test, Test. Hallo Felix, kannst du mich hören?
Hello. There we go. Hi. You're allowed to sit anywhere. I'm not going to force you to sit in the front. I'm not one of those guys. What? I want everyone to be comfortable. That's what I want. Yes, my guy. This is it. This is how you do it. You tell people there's a film. Julian told me I have to convince you guys by telling you how many times do you get to see a film and then talk to the people who were in the film. Not often. And that's going to happen today. Fire. There is going to be a film, of course. There's going to be 2. Also, this is live streamed, actually, so there's people tuning in at home, which is cool. But the camera only pans down to like 3rd row, so no one can see you guys. Yeah. I'm not. I didn't say anything. I'm just like stating the facts, stating the information. Damn, I feel like I'm a stand-up comedian now. Yeah. With my little teeth. Let me see if I can come up with a good joke. Do you have a good joke? All right, wait. I gotta come up with a good joke. What is yellow and can break your teeth? No, wait, not yellow. Sorry, I fucked it up. What is orange and can break your teeth? A what? Sorry? A brick. There we go. A brick. Great. My dad had a heart surgery last week, and when he was in recovery, I was trying to cheer him up. So I asked ChatGPT for some cardiology related jokes, and ChatGPT gave me one. I asked for the raunchy version, and it told me, like, what was it? It was like, why are cardiologists so good at getting girls? Nothing. Because they know the way to their heart. It's great. It's not so bad. Could be worse, could be better. All right, should we just start at this point? I thought you guys were bringing everyone in here. No. It's like 5 extra people showed up. I did heavy promo, but didn't work enough, I guess. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you also so much for all the people that are tuning in with the live stream at home, for being here and for taking my call during this morning's session to come here. This is a very biased invitation because I worked super hard on this project, so I'm very stoked on it. And I'm glad that you guys are here as well. I want to start off with a question, actually 3 questions. The first one, they're all about purpose, okay? The first question is, how many of you have the feeling that you've already found your purpose in life? Damn, bro, that's a lot. All right. Can you tell me how so? Yeah, what's your purpose in life? All right. So change things for other people. Anybody else? Who else raised their hand? Yeah, what about you? Okay. Right. Okay, beautiful. So 2 very focused on change making. The second question that I have for you guys is, how many of you, regardless of if you answered yes to the first question, have a general feeling of uncertainty, frustration, fear, or maybe anxiety about your future and about what you're meant to be doing on this planet? Raise your hand if that's the case. All right, a few people, not so many. A mix. We got some hands ups and downs. Okay, and then the third question is, how many of you have the feeling that starting a social or environmental initiative has helped you get closer to finding purpose in your careers or in your life? All right, pretty resounding. Some of you know. That's interesting. We'll have to talk after. No. Okay, cool. So purpose. The reason why I ask these questions, and kind of from my personal experience, is that we're living in a pretty fucked up time. Obviously, some past times were even more fucked up, but there's a lot of things that are going on right now, and it can feel very easy to lose a little bit of the sense of like where things are at, you know? If you look at the data and the research, the levels of happiness amongst young people are decreasing globally. That's according to the World Health Organization. And the other thing that's a little bit sketchy, maybe you guys have realized this just from being young, but the current system kind of pushes you into careers where you're kind of meant to, like, you know, build shareholder value, but oftentimes at the cost of your own health, of your own fulfillment, and also in many ways of your own happiness. Not always the case, but definitely a lot of the times. What do we make of that? We're not going to talk about capitalism, if that's good or bad, but we're going to talk about purpose, and we're going to hopefully give you a better guide on how to find purpose in your life and actually make sense of it. And we're going to watch some videos because it's the end of the day and it's been a long day. That's kind of the idea of this session. The first thing that I just want to talk about really quickly is what purpose actually is. There's, at least from my side, the best way that I found to describe what purpose is the ikigai, the Japanese concept. Does anybody know what an ikigai is, or what the ikigai is? All right, a few hands are raised. Does anybody know what it means? Can someone tell me what it means? That's an invitation. No? All right, literally translates to the reason for being. And there's 3 big components to the ikigai. The first one is doing something that you love. The second one is doing something that makes the world a better place. And the third one is doing something that can make you money, right? My name is Martin. I'm the communications lead of SIA. My job is basically to convince people like you to take part in SIA and to consider taking in a career that could have a positive contribution to society instead of just going to work for an oil and gas company. That's the goal, right? I, as a 26-year-old, have done a lot of thinking around what purpose is and what purpose means. And in this process, I have found that creating a social or environmental initiative is basically a cheat code to finding purpose in your life and in your career. And there's a few reasons for that. But the biggest reason is in that it's a cheat code is not because it's going to magically give you purpose in life, but it's because it can give you the skills, the confidence, and the competencies that you need to carve your own path. And I feel so passionate about this topic that we at SIA created a video series called The Impact Blueprint that is all about this and all about the topic of purpose. We went around Europe and we met some incredible people. 2 of them are here with us today. They're sitting in the corner here, Julian and Martina. And they gave us the ingredients to living a purposeful life, or at least some of them. And they mostly gave us the ingredients on what their secrets are to finding a purpose where you can make money doing something that you love, all while making the world a better place. I am going to talk to them in just a little bit, but instead of introducing them myself, I am going to invite you guys to watch a 10-minute video of the Impact Blueprint, episode 6 specifically, on the topic of community, which feels perfect because we're at the SIA Summit, and what more is this than just a community gathering? And afterwards, we're going to do the live premiere of episode 10 of the Impact Blueprint, where we interviewed some incredible, incredible people and hopefully have a good time. Yeah? Cool. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. Can we turn off the lights also?
When there is no trust, when you're not able to let go, then the magic doesn't happen.
Around the world, there are thousands of young people making money, doing something that they love, and solving some of society's biggest challenges in the process. I'll be traveling across Europe, meeting incredible young people who have found success in doing things differently. This is the Impact Blueprint. Community. It's about more than making friends. It's really about finding your people. If you want to make a living doing what you love, all while making the world a better place, you can't do it alone. It's lonely out there. According to data, 1 in 4 people worldwide experience loneliness on a regular basis. I worry that there are thousands and thousands of young people out there that experience loneliness on a regular basis and want to get the most out of their lives. However, they don't know where to start, and maybe more importantly, they don't know who to go on this journey with. So far, we found out that coming up with a social or environmental initiative can be a great way of finding purpose in your career. Now, the real question is, how do you find people to do this with? I'm heading to Slovakia to meet Martina and Julian. Then, hey. So we are in Bratislava, and we are about to meet Martina, the founder of Zedmutori. On the surface, Martina is the sweetest person you'll get to meet. However, once you get to know her better, you realize this girl is a real badass. Ah, Martina! Nice to see you. Really, how can she not be? She created one of the largest platforms for young people in Slovakia to learn critical skills for the 21st century. Nice to meet you.
These are my girls working hard. You can have a look around. This was the night when we won SIA. Like, this was the first award that we've ever won, and the first money that we've received. So it was a huge help.
And is it a mostly female team?
Yes, but it just happened by coincidence.
Female power. Yes, we can.
This is actually the first recording ever of our first educational video. And that's my favorite one, the European Citizens Prize. They just pick one project or an NGO.
No, I think the Social Impact Award is a great award. Winning the Citizens Award from the European Union is kind of a big deal. We were thinking maybe we could kind of roam around outside for a little bit. We at SIA are trying to build pretty much the first ever guide for young people on how to make a living doing what they love, all while making the world a better place, but as social entrepreneurs. One thing that we haven't spoken too much about is doing it with the right people, right? And also building a community around this topic. You know, you guys were started as quite a big team. Maybe you can tell me a little bit more about those early days, how you guys found each other.
I think it was really funny because we met on LinkedIn. I just randomly went there and saw the comment from Julian, the co-founder, who just wrote about an idea that he had, and I had a very similar idea to just start creating meaningful content for young people and help them. So I just wrote him like, maybe we should meet because I can make videos and you want to make videos. I have to mention, of course, that there is this leadership program for young people in Slovakia, and that's where the rest of the team met. So this is where all our first meetings took place, and we really spent hours and hours sitting here and discussing everything from strategy to our motivation to content plans. So there was a huge table over here where we always sat.
We were just hanging out in the cafe, and all of a sudden, the owner comes out and offers to give us a tour of his entire space. Hey, you're the founder?
Yeah. Oh, so this is actually the heart of the makerspace.
Wow, very cool.
We have some 5 machines here, but all the workshops are running here.
The one.
The cafe upstairs is hoping to finance this, so we have one CSR part, and it's mostly educating people. You can buy a membership here if you come to work. Therefore, when you say prototyping, I thought we have all the prototyping machines in here.
This guy has been bringing people like Martina and Julian together for years now, helping them create initiatives like Zedmutori. You can just feel the passion for this kind of work. Very cool. All right, well, thanks a lot. Years ago, they met on LinkedIn, and now I'm speaking to both of them about their early experiences as co-founders. what challenges they ran into, and also what made them so successful. Did you always kind of feel like you had an easy understanding of where to find the people?
Well, I think if Julian wasn't here, like in the days, I wouldn't be able to find a team.
And think about all the incredible initiatives that the world has never seen because the right people couldn't come together. That's what Social Impact Award is for. It's for bringing the right people together and creating a community of like-minded people that can support each other when things get tough. I'm going to meet Jonas, the managing director of Social Impact Award, to learn more about what makes SIA such a special community.
Community is one of the things that is at the core of what we do at Social Impact Award. And it's one of the focus areas of our work that we try to build as much of a community as possible on very different layers. We always try to build a lot of connections that they can very easily find other people they connect with and build a community. I think the most important thing is that you go out there and talk about your idea, talk about what you want to do. There's many possible events, communities, networks that you can find touch points with. Right?
The cool thing about that is in the link in the description, there is a URL that you can click and you'll have access to all kinds of different opportunities, events where you can also find your communities.
I was also a freelancer, so I was creating content alone and I didn't have any team around me, so I was just used to doing everything alone. I think that's not the way how you can grow.
If you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. I think for now, what we're really looking at is the early stage, right? Is even just finding those first people, that maybe that first person to do the project with. And I think for that, maybe we can get moving and we can go to the next location. What is Smoothie?
Smoothie prepares young people for real life in everything they need in 21st century. I think it's around like 70,000 followers on social media, and then we have like 11,000 teachers that work with us.
70,000 people. That's insane. That's the population of a small city.
It all happened in 1 month, and then all of a sudden we formed a group of 6 people, 6 co-founders.
Julian is joining us on Zoom right now because he's doing his MBA at Oxford. Yes, that's Julian. Not only was he the driving force behind Zedmudri, he is also a super intelligent and talented individual with one of the biggest smiles and also some of the best eyebrows that I've ever seen.
I think it was just a coincidence. The fact that I was telling about this idea everywhere I could.
It was mostly thanks to Julian's approach of like really talking openly about everything.
I had a fear of being laughed at. I had this mental block of not wanting to be discouraged and not wanting to receive feedback about my idea. I would say like entrepreneurship is a very lonely experience.
Julian's right. Entrepreneurship does get lonely. You really have to find the right crowd of people to help you with this.
So I would always recommend all kinds of leadership programs or educational programs. So like I can see how it brought me a great community of people who just think in a very similar way and who want to do something good in this world.
And that's really what SIA is all about. For Julian and Martina, SIA was a place to meet like-minded people that became friends and helped them on their journey.
I realized that there's a team of people. It's not just me. I'm not on my own, but I have responsibility for the entire team.
We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and that's why you need others to just complement you, and you complement them, and then that's how it all works.
From the beginning, when we were 6 and when we were like co-founders, it really helped me when I knew that they care.
When there's no trust, when you're not able to let go, then the magic doesn't happen.
As I made my way back to Vienna, it feels like we've reached an inflection point. We've covered all the first steps in this journey, how to come up with a problem, how to come up with a solution, how to test all of that, a business model, and how to find a team. Now we need to get hands-on. We need to look at what it takes to build the initiative, the product or the service that will create the impact in the long run. I think I know who to talk to help me with this. Her name is Lori.
If you are launching your product and you're proud of it, you're doing it too late.
Nice. That feels super weird seeing our faces on a big screen. Thank you for watching. Sorry that there were no subtitles. That was a bit of an issue, but we'll switch it for the second video. And also we'll bring the colors down a bit afterwards, I think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully that gave you a good sense of who Martina and Julian actually are. I'm going to invite them on stage, and then we're going to have a quick conversation. I have a few questions for them, but I would love for you guys to just pepper them with as many questions as you have. Beautiful. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Guys, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
How did it feel seeing your faces on the big screen? Especially you, Martina.
It's
You
a
told me you were
nightmare.
going to cringe.
Yeah, like this was my first time watching the video and I couldn't really watch it and listen to it. So yeah, it's a horrible experience, but you did a great job. So it's nothing against you or the series.
taken.
I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
It's even worse because we create videos for kids, for high schoolers. And when you walk in a class and they turn on your video and you're trying to make a joke in a video and they're not laughing at all, that's real cringe. So this was still okay.
Okay, that sounds awful.
You're a nice audience. So
Yeah, I heard a little laugh at some point. That's good. Just going straight into the topic of purpose, because that's how we opened up this conversation. The first question that I asked was, do you have the feeling that you found purpose in your career? And I don't know if you raised your hand, but you raised your hand, Julian. So I want to then ask you the question again. Do you feel like you found purpose in your career?
Yes and no, I would say. So doing Smudri was really purposeful for me, and it still is. I mean, we're still involved. But I think people probably imagine that purpose is something that you discover and it's there forever, but it might change during your life. And I think it changed in my case as well. So right now, currently, I'm in a stage of redefining my purpose and thinking, not because I think I wasn't living purposefully until now, but I'm thinking of, oh, can I be even more purposeful, or am I thinking efficiently or effectively enough? So it's good also that you're challenging your thinking about your purpose on a continual basis. So currently, I would say I'm redefining it, questioning. So I'm not on the like a safe ground, but Smudri was definitely very purposeful, and I could really tell how I like physically felt very fulfilled, and it was very, very beautiful period of my work life.
That's amazing. What about you, Martina?
well, initially when we found this Smudri, I also felt like this is my purpose, and it was definitely. And it was probably driven by the fact that I was solving the problem that I personally felt as well. So I was solving my own problem. But yeah, I think it just changes even during years at Smudri. It just changed all the time, or not all the time, but very often. And it's because we change as people. So I can imagine that the older I get, or with the different life situations and stages, your purpose is just totally different. So sometimes your North Star just shines brighter, and then it doesn't shine at all. Also, the fact is that I'm bored quite easily. So
Yeah.
I
like
need
many of us nowadays. Yeah.
yeah, I just need constant change. But I think like the intrinsic values stay the same somehow. It's just the details of the purpose that change. So I'm not that worried about changing them anytime I feel like it.
So your guys' episode was very focused on community, right? And also for the people here, probably you didn't, I mean, maybe you have actually seen some of the other episodes. Hopefully we left you with a good cliffhanger to go and watch some of the other ones, other than the 10th that we're going to watch. But with episode 10, what I felt was so fascinating with what you guys are doing, and that's really what drew me to interviewing you guys specifically, was sort of this like communityception. So it's like you guys are building this incredible community, right, of what Smudri is. Now I can pronounce it correctly after saying like Zedmudri for like 20 for like two months. and 70,000 people, so many different people, like teachers, professors across the country. But then on top of that, there's this strong community feeling within the team, and even just the fact that you guys both came here and that you both are still board members of the organization after having moved out. So I guess it's a long-winded way of asking, like, what was the role of the other in finding this sense of purpose when you guys were working? Do you feel like if you were doing this alone, you would have had that same level of fulfillment?
That's a very difficult question. Very hard to answer, but I think we were extremely lucky because we were 6 co-founders, which is crazy high number. I don't recommend having 6 co-founders. It's quite crazy. But we were lucky that somehow magically we connected very well and we complemented very well each other. So it somehow worked quite well. And I think for 3 years we all remained together, and then slowly some people started leaving the venture. And right now nobody within the operational team is from the original co-founding team. So right now it's running completely by different people. But we were very lucky at the beginning, which really helped us with the fact that it's way better to not do it on your own, but you have to be lucky with the people around you. And there's like so many ways how you can mess this up completely, or because it's all about relationships. Eventually, entrepreneurship is about people and relationships and managing it. So we were lucky we got this right. And once we started hiring and growing and realizing how difficult it is to get new people who are on the same page with us, then we actually realized, oh, these 3-4 years ago when we were starting, that was actually quite of a luck that we got this. So definitely, to answer your question more specifically, it's definitely good when you have other people on the same journey with you or defining the purpose, but it shouldn't be too many, and there shouldn't be too complicated to work with, because then it's kind of like contradictory to what you want to achieve.
Well, you said it worked out magically. I don't think it was magic. It was actually something that annoyed me back then, that Julian wanted to talk a lot about intrinsic motivations and why are you doing this selfishly, and so on and so on. So we talked about everything a lot, and somehow it created like a sense of commitment. Like if you say something out loud in front of the other co-founders, I mean, it's not true for everyone because people say a lot of bullshit, and then in the end just don't do what they promise. But somehow it worked for us. So I agree that we were really lucky, and it was a huge coincidence that people that co-founded Smoothie with us were reliable and responsible. But you also brought a lot of amazing topics to just great conversations that we had, and a lot of honesty and safe space. So yeah, so thank you for that.
Cute.
How nice I am.
But yeah, just to add maybe one specific thing, there are like millions of learnings that we had on the road, but there's one thing if I would love people to remember, or which are really valuable, which really helped us, is that
Listen up.
Yeah, listen up. What I keep asking, and people keep laughing when I do ask that, but this question is so important for me, is that whenever we interview a new person to join our team, and also I did this when we started together, I always ask a question like, what's in it for you? What's your selfish motivation to join and to do this? And I don't want to hear answers like, oh, I care about the problem, I care about the better world. Yeah, sure, we all do. I mean, if you don't, you're a psychopath probably, or something. But like, I really want to get to the rock bottom. Like, what do you care about, and what do you see here? What do you see in it for yourself? Like selfishly, do you like, I don't know, like being in front of the camera, or you like the feeling that you can talk in front of the kids, or like whatever it could be whatever you want. And then also for you as a leader, as a manager, it really helps you down the road to manage expectations and to work with this motivation, and to really try to design everything in a way that the selfish motivation is met and nourished, of course in a reasonable way. If it's too selfish, or if it endangers your business or whatever, that's kind of a problem. But it's important for you to know and to understand, like, why are people here for real, and then work with it.
Love that. Yeah, when I interviewed you, I remember this was like my key takeaway, and I realized like I'm gonna ask this question in every single interview that I have. This is a cheat code for sure. I have two very specific questions for each of you, and then I would just open the floor for anyone that wants to ask questions to the two of them. The first one, and it's really just talking about what you discussed, just like digging into that a little bit. Specifically first with you, Martina, because you talk about this idea of trust. And I feel like this idea of trust is oftentimes underrated in organizations, especially at the early stage. And I think a lot of the people here are like really early stage founders. And even if they're not, like, even if they're, you know, I know somebody here is from the Impact Hub, and there's a lot of different relationships to social entrepreneurship here. But regardless, I think the topic of trust is so important. And I'm wondering very concretely, like, what were some of the day-to-day practices, or like at an organizational level, that helped you instill this feeling of trust with your colleagues?
Okay, I will try to answer this in two levels because first level is like within co-founders, and I never really struggled with trusting them because I felt like Smoothie is their baby and it's their project, and I knew they care enough to just do their work. And also just along the way, I saw that they're responsible and everything that I talked about before, that they're committed and they care. So that was quite easy. But then I really struggled with trusting new people that weren't co-founders, and they were just totally random people who we tried to hire, and trusting them and letting them go without any supervision, like that was really difficult. I had to fight this like parent-kid relationship, which is not really good. But yeah, maybe that's the thing that I eventually had to learn as parents. Just let their kids move out of their home, or even just let them go to school alone for the first time. You have all the ideas what could possibly go wrong, and of course you have them and you think about it. But in the end, like, most of the kids survive and they just do well. And yeah, like, if you want to grow, you can't really just keep doing it by yourself. So that's the only way how, and just doing it more and more and more helps you to find your peace with it. And also what I would recommend, and it's very difficult for many co-founders, is understanding that you can't do everything. And even though you think you will be the best at doing like everything from graphics to videos to whatever, like page in front of the investor, it's great to find someone who might potentially be better in it than you, and just let go of all the details that you might want to change because it's not worth it. And your relationship with the person that created the presentation is much more important than the color of the title or whatever. So yes, so I struggled, but in the end, you have to let go.
Learn to let go. Yeah. There we go. That's the one. Yeah, and also like inviting people to, not inviting, but like letting people break stuff also. That's a tough one. I feel like also personally, I have a tough time with that. And it's also just part of being like, you know, that parent-kid dynamic, you know, like the kids are always going to break stuff. It's like, it's part of the game, you know. My question to you, Julian, and then we open it up, is specifically with like the loneliness topic, because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and also maybe here. Actually, let's just open it up. Like, how many of you guys have the feeling of like being lonely by having chosen this path, by like having chosen to like build a social venture? Yeah, okay, a few people.
He's not feeling lonely. He's just leaving.
Yeah, he's just like, fuck that. I'm gonna go see some people. No loneliness here. Like I didn't get the chance to like dig into that so much during our conversation. And one thing that popped up when I was rewatching the content is, how did you really counter that beyond just like being with co-founders, you know? Because it's more than that. I have the feeling that also it's about also confidence, and it's about like accepting that this is the path that you want to walk, and that sometimes it will be a little bit more lonely because a lot of people are not going to get that. So walk us through that process.
So to be perfectly honest with you, I felt lonely even when I had these co-founders, and we were 6. So we were quite I keep repeating that.
Yeah,
we were a lot.
Yeah. It was so many people.
So many people. But I felt lonely even at that point, because I was the first one who started working for Smudri full time. So we started it was kind of a volunteering project. So we did it in our free time. But then once we started earning some money and raising some funds, I was the first one who started full time. So and as a person who was like leading the organization, I always had to be like 3 steps ahead. That's just the nature of the job. So since you're 3 steps ahead, you're alone there. Even though you have amazing co-founders and you talk with them a lot, still you might realize at some point that you are kind of you don't have that much of a resources to use or to be supported when you actually need it, because people may not 100% relate to you. What do you think, or what do you mean? Or so to be honest, I never really hacked at that. I never really find out how not to feel lonely. But it was a little bit helpful, or I would say like quite a lot helpful, was finding some mentors or senior people who might understand your thinking or your challenges a little bit more. And also the fact when you are a leader, you don't have anyone above you, which is many times awesome, but sometimes it's quite frustrating because you don't have anyone to talk to about certain topics, and these mentors help. So that was helpful, but other than that, it was quite challenging for me to deal with this kind of a feeling of loneliness, and I don't think I've ever really came very close to solving it.
Damn.
Sounds.
I was hoping for like $1 million answer.
See, people depressed are leaving.
Yeah.
Feel is depressive.
Yeah.
Why?
No, but it's tough. Do you have like a hope that is something like that you can deal with differently? Or do you just feel like it's part of the game and it's about mitigation?
Yeah, I think it's part of the game and it's about mitigation. I don't think you can do something to mitigate, and as I said, like those mentors and stuff, but I think it will be always part of it because it's just how it is.
Yeah, definitely. At least I have the feeling, and maybe it's just like a hope, but that, you know, at the beginning, also to wrap everything up, you were speaking about purpose being something that you experience at different moments of your life and depending on the day, right? That like there might be times where you feel super lost and confused, and there might be times where you wake up and you're just like, I'm perfectly aligned, like ikigai, I got it. And in that same way, maybe sometimes it's also about acknowledging that you will be lonelier, and at other times less so. And that maybe sometimes you might have a strong craving for not being a leader and alone, and that could also mean going and doing some kind of other career or like doing something different, right, for like a period of time. But I still have the feeling that there's like a confidence and like an intuition that you develop also with time in being able to like understand what you need, you know. That was also one of the big findings with all the entrepreneurs that we spoke with, is like they all have crazy intuition, and that's something that you also build when you go through this process. I would invite everybody here to maybe ask some questions. I don't know, Abed, do we have a fourth mic or no? Yeah, just so I can like run. What's up? What
Yep.
is that?
You throw it at people.
You throw the thing? Fire. That's cool. I can practice my football skills. God, I sound so American. And like, what happens? They just like, oh, that's cool. Okay. Hey.
Okay, let's see how this works.
So you throw the thing.
And you speak in the thing.
Oh, that's so cool. What the hell?
So I'm going to ask a more, let's say, philosophical question. So at some point, somebody stood under a tree and an apple fell on its head. And now 500 years later, if you ask anybody what Isaac Newton's purpose was to make us to understand gravity. But if you would have asked him, probably 500 years ago, he would have said, like, no, my life's purpose is to understand alchemy. So nothing in that sense. So my question to you is, pursuing your selfish goals, as you put it, what, looking back, what objective purpose do you feel you've achieved? Thank you.
Damn, hit it with a home
Starting
run on
easy.
the first one.
That's the question I ask myself every day I wake up. Are you like interested in like what sort of a purpose we achieved, or yeah, I mean
Legacy.
yeah. Well, we work with kids, so and we try to give them some sort of skills or to teach them things that they're going to use in real life once they leave school or while they're at school. And it's always very touching to read like their feedback and to see how it helped them and how it supported them. So I guess that's some sort of a way, I would say that's a way how I can demonstrate, at least to myself, that, okay, that this was purposeful just a little bit. Although, and that's connected to the impact measurement workshop that we just had like an hour ago, it's very, very hard to measure because there are some it's very complicated, and sometimes you think that you're the one who helped, but it's actually different externalities that supported that person, or the fact that the person said, like, you taught me so much doesn't mean that I actually gave them some real skills that they're actually going to use in real life and that they're actually going to help them. So it's very, very complicated. And these questions make me feel like I'm totally useless here because I can't really even prove that like 100% I really helped that person. But at least those stories and those like small things, small anecdotes from people who we interact with kind of help us to make us feel that, okay, there was some sort of a purpose. And yes, we can spend a lot of time debating and philosophing and measuring and whatever, but like if we do this, we're just gonna shoot ourselves in the head very soon because it's gonna be, you just by after 10 minutes of this, you realize your life's meaningless anyway. We have this Slack channel where we put all the nice quotes and achievements and everything. We call it Ego Masturbation Channel on the Slack. So that's how we boost our egos. And it's once we read it, then I have much better mood because I realized like maybe this was a bit purposeful.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything you said. And I just love the anecdotal evidence of like meeting a bunch of teenagers that look like might kill you, but then all of a sudden they're like, oh, Smodry, hello. And you're like, wow, like you're watching our videos. You don't look like you would watch our videos. So I loved those moments. And also just like how I personally measured it back then was that I woke up and I didn't feel this like, oh my God, I have to go to work. No, but I felt like, yay. Like I had this little butterflies in my stomach for a few years. So yeah, that's how I knew. Just intuition, kind of, and anecdotes. And then of course some data, but we are not going to talk about that now.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thanks for the question. That's a really cool one. Nice throw.
Wow.
Anna, you played basketball, right?
How heavy is it?
It's not heavy at all.
That might be the problem.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to understand. I know maybe it's a crazy question. So how
Another
do you
one.
do the work-life balance? Yeah. The purpose is
We
there.
don't.
No, especially maybe when you're a young entrepreneur, you don't have a family, all those things are good. But yeah, because I tell my case itself, I'm at 45 with 2 kids, with family and all. I've realized a purpose 3 years back. I'm chasing it. But at a juncture where work-life balance, loneliness, all factors come in, right? So how one can handle it? Or what is it like? Do you have any mantra? Or do you see that? Or have you any experiences, not by yourself, but other entrepreneurs as well? And especially on the social entrepreneurship, when you're tied up to the purpose. Yeah, purpose is good, but it won't boil the fire, right? Sometimes other factors will put down this fire. Yeah, how can you keep this fire alive?
Yeah, I think we are the worst people to answer this question, but let's try. I think like both of us experienced some kind of burnout. But yeah, the thing is that we started when we were like 23, 24. We didn't have any responsibility or like not a serious one. So it was much easier to just work all the time and only focus on building this NGO. I'm 30 now, and I know that I couldn't do it again, or I couldn't do it at such pace as we did back then. And it wasn't also really healthy, but I wouldn't change it. Like, yeah, I think it was the right time to work like that, and it was worth it. But yeah, so what I'm doing now is that I took a year off and I'm studying and focusing on myself because I just had to. So yeah, I mean, I felt like I would be more of a burden if I had stayed and felt this tired as I felt. So I just left for a year and we'll see what happens then. So yeah, I would just say like, don't hesitate to take a break and just step down for some time if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest warning sign for me was when somebody asked me like, what are your hobbies? And then I realized I don't have an answer to this. So like the first things that were popping in my head was like creating pitches or looking at spreadsheets and stuff like that. And then this was an aha moment for me that, oh my God, like I don't have any real life. I'm just 100% devoted into this. And the concept of Fridays or weekends or like holidays or anything, it just kind of disappeared. Not that I didn't rest or something, but it was very chaotic and very unstructured. So I literally told myself that right now I'm going to focus on 9-to-5 life or a 9-to-5 job. On Friday, I'm going to be happy that there's Friday and that there's a weekend ahead of me, and I'm going to have a proper weekend. I have a spreadsheet where I track this, and I write and I
Can't
write
take
down
the social entrepreneur out of the social entrepreneur.
and I write down if I really rested during that weekend, and it's really, really helpful. But I'm not sure if you can build a venture with this sort of approach. I mean, there are many people would say like, of course you can have work-life balance and also build amazing ventures. I'm not sure of that. From my experience, that's not really possible. My mentor is a guy who launched amazingly successful consulting business with like hundreds of employees in different countries. And he told me that work-life balance for entrepreneurs is the biggest bullshit he ever heard. Like he has dozens of entrepreneurial.
Not subscribed by C at that moment. Not sponsored.
He has like dozens of friends from like a top management positions, entrepreneurs, and none of them has like a real proper work-life balance. Like they all had to sacrifice a lot from their personal lives. So, I mean, good luck to anyone who's gonna look for this sort of life or who wants to achieve work-life balance. I'm not saying it's completely impossible, but from my experience, it's really hard to find. And perhaps that's the choice you have to make. Like sometimes it's about trade-offs, and we just have to accept it. And we shouldn't strive to find these ideal balances because they just don't exist.
Yeah, thank you.
I would just add one thing, because I also don't want to leave on that note necessarily. Like, that's kind of depressing. So in this series, we got to meet a lot of really, really cool people from like all different levels and all walks of life. And the 2 episodes after this one, we talked to someone called Sarah from Austria, and she was a very successful entrepreneur. She's probably around your guys' age. She let go of her venture a while back, and we actually dug into the topic of letting go, but also well-being. So first of all, go watch that episode. But on top of that, I think, at least for me, my finding was that sometimes it is definitely about trade-offs, and a lot of the people that we interviewed are young, and a lot of them are kind of like living a pretty fast life. But maybe the goal, again, if we're looking at like the whole topic again, right, like purpose, like maybe the goal is not to create the billion-dollar unicorn or like the crazy thing that's going to get you in like the highest level decision-making positions, you know? Maybe sometimes the goal is actually to have like a job that you can wake up doing every single day that you really like, that still pays your bills. And maybe also the goal is to make that like a 9 to 5, or that there's like a good work-life balance, right? That might be part of finding that ikigai. And with her, she was like, you know, at some point, social entrepreneurship was not it for her. And she was like, actually, I want to go and do something a little bit different. And now she's super fulfilled, and she has an amazing work-life balance, you know? So not saying that can't happen, but I think there's so many different models that we can also look at, and go watch the video.
Yeah, I think she should be my mentor then.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, I just want to add 2 small ideas, really, just briefly. The first one is, and that helped me and motivated me to relax, is anytime I took a step back, I had like the best ideas all of a sudden, because I just had a chance to relax and to look at things from other perspective, and it helped me. So in the end, it was even more effective than staying there for 12 hours and forcing myself to work all the time. So yeah, so the idea that it's more effective helped me to relax. And one other thing is this concept of economy of enough, which I really like. And it's about basically just about like not necessarily growing every year, which somehow is expected of like every company and everyone. I don't know why, like why it's not just enough like what we had this year and what we've achieved, or just a team of 3 people, and not necessarily growing to 10 or 15 or 500. So yeah, just making peace with not growing is great, maybe, if that's your way and journey that works for you.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, Barbara.
Ready to catch?
Nice throw.
Yeah, thank you so much. As entrepreneurs, we experience team issues, and mostly the founders. So you said you started 6 people as co-founders, and then after 3 years, some dropped, and maybe a few continued to build this organization. So what are some of the strategies that you laid to allow the new to join you and to really give in power? Because we have these titles, I'm the co-founder, and we don't want to let go of maybe some of the responsibilities. Yes, in reality, the organization is really growing bigger. So what could be some of the strategies that you could share with us that we can put in place, so that also we can have that foundation of team that can help us grow bigger the way also you guys are doing it? Thank you.
That's an amazing question. And again, you asked the worst people of all to answer this. Because I think we failed at this to a large extent, not like fully, because now it's ran by different people, but the transition process was not as smooth as we hoped. And I don't know what are the right strategies. What we tried to do is to devote a lot of time as possible. So when we were hiring and looking for new people, we were trying to not make decisions just quickly or just to find someone just to find someone. We really wanted to be sure that this is the right person. I think maybe some of the mistakes that we made was that we made a couple of decisions maybe on the pressure of time. So allow yourself to look for the right candidate for as long as possible. Don't make the decision just because you have to make the decision, and then just be very maybe very detailed on what does the position require and what are you actually looking for. Not only in terms of like tasks, but also in terms of the values and the attitudes. And I know like it sounds very obvious, but this is the place where most of the companies or organizations get it wrong, I guess. It's just this value alignment. We were lucky because we were automatically very aligned from the very beginning on like the very foundational things, such as being committed to deadlines, or like handing in something after the deadline is just unacceptable for us. And I don't have to negotiate with anyone within the team that being late or not committed is wrong. But many people don't have it like this, or their values are not being committed or not being responsible. So being able to recognize what are your true core values, even the unspoken ones, and looking for those values specifically, and being very ruthless or being very specific that this is what I want and this is something that is just non-negotiable. Is very crucial, and it takes time, but I guess at the end of the day, if you have enough time and very clear requirements and very clear things that you expect, you at some point will probably eventually get it right. But these basic values and these basic foundation and these basic ways how you think and operate are so important that I just cannot stress it enough. And we were just lucky at the beginning that we were very aligned at the very beginning, but then when we were looking for new people and when we made some hires, it wasn't the case. So that's where we made the mistakes.
How do you say it? Fire fast?
Hire fast, fire fast,
yeah.
Even faster.
I just when there's no cultural fit, I think it doesn't make any sense to wait before you fire. So that would be the first thing that we learned. And the second that worked for me was that, and it like you need to be really courageous to do this as a co-founder, but giving the new people as much power in decisions as possible. I felt like it created bond between them and the organization when they could actually change something, or if they saw that they are not there just to do the tasks that I require from them, but they can actually propose new ideas and they get done. And so I would just give them as much power as possible. Of course, you can't really, or you can fail in this as well and be disappointed, but I would try.
Maybe just one more thing to add again. Oh, yeah.
If you want.
Yeah, just one last thing. Also, having spoken with a lot of these different people, everyone has a very different approach to ownership and to co-creation, right? Like collaboration, co-creation. One thing that really stood out is the people that are the best at letting others in are the ones that have done the most inner work. So maybe a little esoteric, but like doing therapy, or really like trying to find a good balance within yourself usually is crucial. Because if you are a social entrepreneur and you've built a product, you probably have like a certain level of ownership over what you want the thing to be. But also sometimes you just have to practice non-attachment, right? Like it's a very Buddhist principle, but it does help a lot. And I think it also helps create a good basis for letting others take ownership and grow within the organization as well. So maybe just my 2 cents. Yes, go for it.
Yes. My question is, how do you get rid of the imposter syndrome? Because it's quite common, especially in these types of events where you meet other people who make also a great impact, but different. And how do you know that when you're doubting yourself, am I really making something, or I like what I do, but when it's enough?
The ego masturbation channel on Slack really helps. But no, to be serious, like what I do is that I write down my not only my achievements, but also like the organizational achievements or my achievements, and it's even like the small things. I write them down and just like have it somewhere, because it's very easy to forget what amazing things you do, and there could be like small stuff, but our brains are somehow like, or at least it's just my brain, but our brains are like programmed to forget about many good specifics you've done in the past. So reminding of those good things that you've done, of those small and big achievements, is so helpful to realize how good you are, and then it's easier to fight the imposter syndrome. And the second thing that really helps me is just realization that the other people that we are comparing ourselves to are not most of the times as amazing as they claim they are, or the numbers that they have and the big brands are not as amazing as they are. I can tell you an example from my experience. It was in a video. I just finished a degree in Oxford University. I guess I don't have to introduce Oxford University. Everybody knows where it is and what sort of a big brand it has. And I went there with like a huge imposter syndrome. So like, I don't belong here. There's so many smart people who worked in like amazing companies, and they studied bachelors at like Harvard, Stanford, whatever. And then I just realized when I talked to them, when I worked with them, that they're just normal people, and actually they do also say a lot of crap, and they're just incapable in so many things as well. So it's just like this realization that we're all humans, and not everyone is, or so many people are just like exaggerating what they do, or we associate their success with the brand that they're working for, but we don't really know exactly what they've done and achieved. So this helps me a lot as well, and like realization that not to be intimidated by someone who claims big things or has great superficial numbers or brands associated with their work, but in actual they're just as good as I am, or maybe even worse. I know it sounds maybe a little bit too, I don't know, I don't find the right word, arrogant what I just said, but this is how I operate.
100%. Do you have something to add? You don't have to.
Not really. I just wanted to say, but it's like connected to what you just said, that we tend to just push our goals further and further and forget, or that's how I work and operate. Like I always think like, okay, once I will achieve this, I will be satisfied and I will gain all the confidence in the world. And then I achieve it, and the confidence is nowhere to be found. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just normal for normal, not psychotic and not sociopathic human beings to just feel anxious and not have the confidence you might want. But actually, like, because you said that if we attend events like this one, if we don't feel imposter syndrome, honestly, I feel so good after meeting people here, because it's such an like supportive group of people, and I don't feel like there is any like competition against each other, but it's more about like, oh, what a cool project you're working on, and yeah, yours is cool as well. So this helps me as well, just meeting like-minded people. And this is not like a startup competition when we need to fight against each other to win money. So yeah, I just feel like this social impact environment is really nice.
100%. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? If not, totally no worries. We would go to the premiere of episode 10 and then let you guys not fall asleep if you have not fallen asleep already.
Wake up.
All right. Cool. Let's do it. Thank you guys so much. Big round of applause for Julian and Martina.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys. 1 second. two things. Is there a possibility to play the video from YouTube? Because there's subtitles on the YouTube page. Is that possible or no? No, like the YouTube video. It's also up there. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Or I can just give you the YouTube page. If you go on YouTube directly, if that's possible. I want you guys to have subtitles. That's what I'm trying to get. If possible. Otherwise, it's stressful. Cool. Thank you. And the channel is called Social Impact Award. Yeah, that's true. And yeah, episode 10.
Yeah, episode 10.
Yeah, exactly. Just one last thing that I wanted to add on the whole imposter syndrome thing, because it's something that I've thought a lot about. Also, I feel like as young people, we kind of are more prone to having the imposter syndrome. Maybe. I don't know if that's true, but I don't get to hang out with too many old people who do. And I feel like there's two things, at least, that have personally helped me in navigating that. Number one, again, therapy. I think this helps a lot. Because it kind of forces you to ask yourself the question of like, why am I not good enough? Like, why do I feel like that? And then the other thing is also just approaching things with humility, because at the end of the day, like, no one knows everything, you know, like you can constantly learn more things. And I think there's no imposter syndrome really if you go into a space and you're just kind of like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and kind of being open about that, like asking people for advice and trying to understand better, because that's just a different framing, right? Like if you go in and try to own the space, but you actually don't know what you're doing, people will also feel that. So just acknowledging that maybe you have no idea, like, I don't know what I'm doing right now, but like probably it doesn't seem so bad, you know? Yeah. And the video is up. Hell yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Cool. That's great. Thank you.
I feel like responsible for my country. So you can change even one life.
Around the world, there are thousands of young people making money, doing something that they love, and solving some of society's biggest challenges in the process. I'll be traveling across Europe, meeting incredible young people who have found success in doing things differently. This is the Impact Blueprint. It's time to close out the Impact Blueprint. Over the last 9 episodes, we found out that building a social or environmental organization can be a compelling way of making a living, doing something that you love, all while making the world a better place. We've met with 10 experts who have given us all the ingredients on how to make this a reality. But there's still one thing we haven't covered. Beyond our own self-interest, why is doing this kind of work important for society? So, this is the last episode on our journey. Today, I'm in Prague, and I'm going to interview 2 incredible people from very different spectrums of society. One of them is an alumni from Ukraine, from the SIA program, and the other one is a high-level politician. I can't tell you who it is yet. You'll have to find that out by staying tuned. So, I think we should get after it. Yeah, thanks for taking the time. For years now, Ukraine has been under attack by Russia. This war has shaken the world up and killed thousands and thousands of people. Irina is one of the many young people working hard to build back the country in times of crisis. Even though she's only 19, she's volunteering in initiatives across the country. And she also built an initiative that she won Social Impact Award with to help dogs who have been hurt by the war. In this episode, we managed to sit down with her for a meaningful conversation over Zoom about what it means to do this kind of work during the war. Basically, over the last few weeks, actually, we've been trying to build the first guide for young people on how to make a living doing what they love, all while making the world a better place. And we found out that social entrepreneurship can be a compelling way to do that. But it's obviously not
the only way to do that. What I wanted to talk to you about, and also why I reached out to you in particular, is this kind of work. It's more than just having fun. So I thought, who better to speak to than someone who is in a country that is kind of torn up by war, but on top of that, who is doing incredibly meaningful work across different layers. And I guess my first question would probably just be, what are you doing right now?
It's a Ukrainian volunteer service. It's an NGO organization, and there I am like a SEO assistant. PASIC is a project which is connected with dogs and veterans, and the main goal of the projects is to take dogs from shelters here, because really we have no places in shelters in Ukraine right now, because we have a lot of dogs from occupied territories.
Unfortunately, humans aren't the only victims of wars. We tend to forget about the natural world and animals, but they also suffer from war.
And train them for service dogs for veterans, give them a friend and a help.
You know, you could still be doing other things, but you could also just be like a normal student. Like, so why take this time out of your day to do this kind of work?
I love it, and I feel responsible for my country. You are a part of your country, and it's just about like the lifestyle, and it is also about like a community. That work can give you a lot, can give you people, can give you society, can give you fun.
I've known her for over a year, and I'm always so blown away by how positive she is for someone coming from a country at war.
This kind of group, like, what do you think makes this group particularly well equipped to also create change in society?
For me, young people, because young people are really active in Ukraine now, and I think it is because we do not want war, we do not like to live in that fear. You just want to stop it and make something better for your country.
It blows me away how responsible these young people are for their country. And I have the feeling there's a lot to learn for young people who aren't in a country at war.
What would be the message that you want to send to all the young people that might be out there watching this video?
You never know what happens next. Live your best life, help each other, and love hard.
The truth is, young people are the future. It's our future to shape. And this is a great message about the power of young people to shape the future. Hey Martin, have you clicked the link? You click that link. There's all kinds of great things in that link.
Okay, dude. I'll
What about
click the
you?
link
You
in
should
the
also
description.
click the link in the
Got it.
description. There's resources from the entire series in there for you to start your own social or environmental organization. So don't be like Martin.
Okay,
Click
dude.
that
I'll click the link in
You
the
won't regret
description.
it.
Got it.
Wow, what a crazy conversation. It's interesting being in Prague, seeing all the sights, and just reflecting on this conversation that we had with Yarina about what it means to be a young social entrepreneur during a war. And obviously, it doesn't have to just be during war times, right? There's so many other challenges that are happening right now. I want to get a different perspective. I want to get a perspective from a high-level politician on what it means to be a young social entrepreneur, or why young social entrepreneurship is important for society. And what better place than the parliament? Let's go. We have made it to the parliament of the Czech Republic. Madam Speaker, can you give us your name?
Oh, hi everybody. My name is Markéta Pekarová-Adamová. I am Czech Speaker of the Parliament of the Chamber of Deputies, because we have two chambers.
Madam Speaker, Markéta Pekarová-Adamová is one of the most important political figures in the Czech Republic. And at only 39 years old, she's holding that position. Not only that, she's a strong supporter of the power of youth, and she has been a strong supporter of Social Impact Award in the country. We're with her on the roof of the Czech Parliament to better understand why young people are crucial in the transformation to a more just and sustainable society.
I am an active politician for 15 years already. I was volunteering during my previous career, and I support all active people.
I'm wondering, from your perspective,
Why are young people critical in this transformation, in this kind of work?
It's very simple. The future is in their own hands because the future is shaped by them. I was very young when I entered politics. I was only 25 or 26. Someone might say, oh, it's too early, you have no experience, but I disagree with, because this is very important to just be very diverse.
In your position, from your perspective, why is it important that young people get active, but specifically by creating social environmental initiatives?
Because you have then an impact. So it's not only about the business, but you get another ingredient to this. It means that you are really powerful to some community, for example, and you can change a lot in that.
If you had some advice to give to young people that are considering anything from, getting into politics to activism to creating a social venture, what would it be?
Just to have a dream, to have a goal and go for it. It's only up to you. If you are really so courageous, because it's about courage, then you can change the world. And I used to say to young students and to young people, we all have our sphere of power. It's sometimes very small, but it's very powerful because you can change even one life. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
What a journey. It's over. We made it. Building this blueprint was one of the biggest challenges we've taken on at CL, but I think we've succeeded. It's taken us across Europe, meeting incredible young people from all walks of life, sharing the same desire to make a living doing something that they love, all while making the world a better place. Our journey began at home, setting ourselves this challenge and meeting with Jakob, who sent us on the first steps of our journey.
So I would probably start with, hey, what drives you mad when you watch the news?
It took us to Slovenia, where we met Jure and Anusha, who taught us how to come up with a problem that you care about and how to build a solution to that problem that works.
Me really understanding that entrepreneurship is about solving problems.
That's why it makes it so fun to do it,
It took us on an adventure across the streets of Vienna, where we immersed ourselves in the experience and learned how to test an idea.
Get out of the house, start doing some action.
We met Lucas, who showed us that it is possible to make money while making the world a better place. All it takes is a little innovation and creativity.
If everything we do for money can only work if it harms others, then we can't function as a society.
It also took us to Slovakia, where we learned about the power of community and how to find like-minded people to go on this journey with.
It really, really helped me when I knew that they care.
That's why you need others.
It took us to Prague, where we met Loreen, who taught us how to build a product or service that works, but also to Teresa and Carol, who showed us the bigger picture behind all of this.
Well, the first thing is you just have to do it.
It's much more important to enjoy the process.
They made us realize it's about more than building an initiative. It's about the people whose lives you transform, having fun and learning along the way. We went back to Vienna, where Sarah showed us that sometimes the best thing you can do is step back from social entrepreneurship.
Always try to not think with your head, but with your gut.
And finally, it took us to Prague, where we spoke with Yarina about what it means to create change in times of war.
Live your best life, help each other, and love hard.
But also to the Czech Parliament, where we spoke with Markéta about why young people are necessary in the transformation towards a more just and sustainable society.
Because the future is shaped by them.
And really, what this journey taught me is that however you choose to do it, the thing that really matters as a young person is that you get active in trying to solve something that you really care about. You can choose to create your own initiative or join one that already exists, either as an entrepreneur, an activist, a politician, or a volunteer. These are all excellent ways of finding purpose. And in the end, Social Impact Award will always be there to help you start your journey to impact, just like it was for all the people that we met along this journey. Let's make it count.
I think I need to relax for a bit. Thanks for watching the series. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. Thank you guys so much for being part of the session. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all to the people who watched it online. Oh, shit.
I burned out.
And yeah, I hope that you guys have an amazing rest of your summit. I hope this was also a little inspirational. Please do watch, share, subscribe, all of the stuff, and see you soon.